Good afternoon. My name is Lerato, and I'll be doing today's training on payroll processing and just being able to add a pay cycle, view your employees, and payroll processing. So to begin, I'm going to log in. Okay, so I'm going to start with creating a pay cycle. So meaning when you create a pay cycle, this is when you determine when you do your payroll processing that you're choosing your monthly, weekly, or fortnightly pay cycle. So to create that, you go under company settings, then you select company, and then you click here where it says payroll setup. So if you are doing for or processing for the current year, the tax year will always be 2023. And for previous tax years, you can select which ones should you wish to backdate. So as you select 2023, you click on add, and then you can give it a cycle name. Then you choose if your employees are monthly, weekly, fortnightly. You can have all pay cycles in one company, or you can create a company for each cycle. Then you're going to select your first processing period, the end date. So if you are processing, let's say for the beginning of November, you'll always choose the end of November for the system to catch from the 1st to the end of November. And then you click add. So as you click add, you'll see a list of all your cycles with the cycle type, when it ends, and you can always edit or delete it only if you haven't processed a payslip or assigned a pay cycle to a payslip. You are actually able to delete it, but if you've processed the payslip, you will not be able to delete a cycle. So that is how you create basically a pay cycle within your company. And now to assign it to your employees, what you do now, you go to employees. Right. So under employees, we have two ways of adding employees. You can click on add employee, and then you can add the personal details and so forth. And we also have imports and exports for your employees. So you can select which one you want to start processing for. And as you add all your employees, you will see a list of all your employees with the employee code, the name, the ID number, date of birth, with the pay cycle they belong to, the department and designations, right? So you can double click on the name to open up the master file, and on the master file is just basically all the personal information, the banking information, work information, and so forth. So on the personal information, you just enter the employee code, date of birth, name, the physical address, and the contact details. Then we have your payment information where you enter how they get paid, and if there is an electronic transfer, then you can enter their banking details. All right, so the most important tab right here under employee master file is work information, where you have to have the start dates. You then have to select which cycle they belong to. So the payroll cycle that we've just created, you will be found under here to just say that this employee is a monthly employee or fortnightly or weekly employee. So if you haven't assigned or selected which cycle they belong to, you will not be able to view the employee under payroll processing, therefore not being able to process the pay slips. So just ensure that you enter their start dates, select their cycle types, and also enter how much they earn on a monthly or weekly or fortnightly basis. So you can manipulate the screen, especially for hourly paid employees, to just say rate per day, rate per hour. You're always able to just edit and change as you go along so that it gives you an accurate monthly salary. If you've got hourly paid employees, but if it's just a monthly salary, then it will work out everything for you automatically. And if an employees work a standard Monday to Friday, it will always have a tick there. But if they work on a Saturday, as you see, it adjusts the rate per day and adjusts the rate per hour. hour as you see it here. So you'll just ensure that you put in the correct days for the employee. So after doing that, you click updates and it will be updated. Right, and we have where you can enter the leave information. So we've got the main ones. So basically here you just can enter the balances. If there's a take-on balance, the system then calculates the days accrued, how many days they've taken, of course, on a transactional basis. When you're actually processing the leave will always reflect here. You don't have to put in anything unless it is a balance. Then you can put in the days due and how much leave they are entitled to. So this goes for every other leave, right? And you've got the tax information where you just enter the income tax number, what tax method they use. So as you see, we've got your director, foreign income, independent contractor, and so forth. But the standard SARS statutory tables is always selected there. So if the employee is not using your normal statutory tables, then you can select the director's PYE or any other of these options, right? So if the employee also has medical aid beneficiaries, you just enter there. And then if the employee qualifies for ETI, you just put a tick there on employee qualifies for ETI, and the system will automatically verify that, go through all the validations, and then calculate ETI for the employee. Right, so we also got a space where you can enter the take-on balances. So if, for instance, you are processing from November, but you want to put in information from March to the end of October, then we've got your setting where you can enter the year to date, which is what we call your take on balances right here. So for every balance, you can say select yes, select add, and it will have all the transactions like your basic salaries, your commissions, your overtime. You just state which transaction you want to select for the amounts to be added as a year to date balance. Then you've got your loans or savings. So you do cater for your loans and your savings, where you just enter how much the loan amount is, how much you agreed that the employee will be paying on a weekly, monthly, or fortnightly basis, and the system will calculate the number of repayments. So on the payslip, it will always show what has been deducted and also the loan balance. Then we've got your employee documents where you can just drop and upload anything like your CV, ID. You can just add anything there. Then you've got your IRP5 validations where it'll just say what you need to add so that you can just have a smooth submission as you are doing your easy file e-filing submission. So it will just let you know what needs to just be corrected so that you don't have any warnings or issues as you do your submissions. Okay, so I would say the most important screen or tab is just to always ensure, especially for today's training purposes, that as you do your payroll, remember to add the start date, remember to assign a cycle type, as well as have a monthly, weekly, or fortnightly salary added there. If you don't have any of this information, you will not be able to see or process the employee payslip. Okay, so I'm going to move forward to payroll processing and show you how to do the payslip processing. Right, so on payslip processing, this is how it looks. This is where now you are ready to process a payslip. So what you do, you'll select your payroll cycle. So if you have more than one cycle, you will select which cycle you want to begin processing for. Right, then you'll find your employees under either unprocessed, processed, terminated, or on leave. So for instance, under unprocessed, I don't have employees because that would mean that I have processed them and I'll find them under processed, right? So every time you've done a payslip and you click process, you won't find your employee under unprocessed, you'll find them under processed, of which you can still edit a payslip once it has been processed. The only time a payslip is closed off is when you actually move over to a new period. Okay, so as you go to processed, you'll see your list of employees there. Then you can select which employees you want to process for. So as you open up that employee that you are ready to process for, you'll see there's an income deduction, company contribution, fringe benefit, year-to-date leave, and a leave history tab. So automatically the basic salary, the tax and UIF, as well as the SDL and the company contribution for UIF, is already calculated for you based on what you have put in as a salary on the employee's master file. So as you saw, I had a 50,000 Rand there, then it automatically calculates the tax and the UIF and automatically calculates the SDL as well as the UIF. So all the standard mandatory transactions have already there and have already been calculated for you. So all you need to do is just to add the other or additional transactions that you'd like to have. So should you want to do that, you click on add income and you can select which transaction you want to enter. So you have quite a few, but you can enter your overtimes, your commissions, your reimbursed travel and so forth, and you just add in the amount. So if it is a recurring transaction, meaning it has just to be there every week or every month, then you put a tick there and then it will always be there as overtime for you to maybe to just enter how many hours the employee worked. Okay, so we've got all the incomes. You can have all your add deductions, all your company contributions, and as well as all your fringe benefits transactions that you may want to add, right? Then we've got the year-to-date tab, which can basically show you what you have processed. This almost works like a monthly reconciliation, but for this particular employee. So if I could zoom it out a bit, it's a bit too much. You'll be able to see that I've actually have processed an annual bonus in the month of September for this employee. I've processed the basic salary in the month of July, August, and September for basic salary. And on this column, it just gives you a total of what has been processed from the beginning of the tax year to the end of the tax year. All right. And then right at the bottom as well gives you totals for each month, right? And for each transaction. So we've got that for year to date for your income, your deductions, your company contributions, as well as your fringe benefits. Okay, just going to zoom it out a bit now. Then we've got your leave tab. So on the leave tab, this is where you're going to process the leave. So for example, you say add leave and select which leave you want to process, from which date to which date, and the system will calculate how many due days the employee will have and the total days. So it'll show you due days, total days that the employee has, and you can add a comment there should you want to. So this goes for any other type of leave, maybe for sick leave. You can select when the employee took the leave, and the system will automatically even calculate the balances. And you can view all that as well on the reports. And on the leave history tab, it will show you when the employee took leave as well, how many days, if the status was cancelled, approved. So this status comes from our ESS. Basically, if the employee has the ESS or you've set up an account for ESS, as they apply for leave, the manager then probably approves the leaves, then it comes as approved here. And then if the leave has been cancelled, it comes as cancelled right there. So it means it was declined. So what I'm trying to say is on our ESS, once an employee has applied for leave and it has been approved, it will automatically reflect here, but all you need to do is just to process the payslip. Okay. So right at the top, we have where it can show you your rate per hour, which processing period you're currently in, and the number of days work, which can also be adjusted should you, have your daily wage employees. Then you can terminate an employee on end employment. So you then select the termination date, if there is any paid leave paid to be paid out to the employee. And the termination reason is also always important as well. So once you've selected that, you click save, and then the employee will be terminated. So every time also you have processed a payslip, every time you have added anything, you just check the payslip, you click process. So on process on the next screen, it will just show you an example of how the employee's payslip will look. So this is where you can again just double check how the payslip will look. right? So you'll have your 50,000 there, your overtime there, and the total earnings, your total deductions, and your net pay, as well as your company contributions. Should you need to go back, you can click back and then you can edit, or you can, if you're happy, you say save payslip. You will always have to click on save payslip for the employee to be fully processed. Right, so once you've saved, sorry about that, once you've saved the payslip, it means the employee has been processed and you're ready to give out the employee their payslip. So what you'll do, you'll click on pay period update. So on pay period update, normally it would just mean that you are moving on to the next period. But on our system, this is where you are then able to actually view, email the payslips to the employees. So as you select your pay cycle, it will always default to the current period that you're actually in, but you can actually view payslips from previous periods as well. So in the period that I'm in, it will show all the employees that have been processed. If you don't have a tick there, it means an employee has not been processed. Therefore, you will not also be able to do the period update until all employees are processed. Right? Then we've got your employee code, your employee name, the email address. Then this is where you can preview the payslip. We've got 3 types of different payslips that you can view. Just select there. So this is our traditional payslip. Then we've got the confidential and the contemporary payslip. But this is our traditional one. So if you've chosen this one, this is how the payslip will look as you email or you send it to the employee, where it has a basic salary over time, any deductions and so forth. And right at the bottom will show payable, which is the net pay. And then it will show you the leave balances as well for the employees. It will also show you the year-to-date totals for the employees, as well as the attendant details, as you see them there. Okay, so once you've viewed this payslip, you can either send an email. So an employee has to have an email address. So once you say send email, it will either send to the company representative, which is the person that is in charge of the payroll. And this is set up as you create a company, where it shows you where you can enter the company representative details, or you can select individual employee. So once you select individual employee and you click send, that payslip will send to the particular employee, and the employee will receive the payslip via email. Right, so you can either select which which employee you want to send the payslip to, or you can say email, or then you send emails, right? And then you can actually also print your the payslips either to PDF or print them on a payslip printer. You just select which one you want to print. So once you've done that and you've closed off, you're ready to do a period update, you click on period update. The system will also always ask you if you sure you want to update your period. And then as you say, okay, you will be in the next month, the next week, or the next fortnight. All right, and then moving forward to our reports. So we've got most of our reports, and you will just see as you click reports, we've got your statutory payroll reports, leave reports, and we've got a favorites tab for all the reports that you use on quite a lot, right? So on our statutory reports, we've got a UIF export that you can send to the Department of Labor. We've got your EMP 201 that you can view for every month, that will have your UIF tax and STL details, as well as ETI if you do make use of ETI. Then you've got your OID report that will show you that is available right at the end of the tax year as well, that you can print. Then we've got your IRP5 electronic certificate. So this only generates a file that you can import into e-filing or easy file. So once you import into that STAR system, it has all the employees details and all their payslip details, and all you need to do from then is just to do the submission. And you can generate the IRP5 from STARS for now, but at a later stage, we will be able to have the actual electronic certificate from our system. Right, and then we have, just move on there. Then we have the EMP 501. So on the EMP 501, we've got where you can actually just view your 501 via tax year, full year, or custom. Right, and then we've got your payroll report. So on our payroll reports, we've got the bank export, we've got your monthly reconciliation and the net pay. Then we've got your payroll summary that you can use. If you've got a loan balance details, you can print that report. We've got all your pay slips, your transaction reports, and we've also got a UIF report. So on the bank export itself, this is where you can select which bank the company uses so that you can pay the employee. And as you select which cycle, it will always reflect for the current period. And then you can then choose which employees you want to pay. And then it creates a little file that you can import into your internet banking. And then it automatically then just pays the employee according to your processing there. Then we've got your net pay report. So on the net pay report is exactly what is in the bank export. It's just that now it's a report that you can have a look at before you generate the bank export file, right? So as you select there, the net pay report then looks like this, where it shows you the employee code, the name, the banking details, and basically the net pay for the employee. Then you can just see exactly what is in the bank export and what is going to be paid out as a total to the employees. Then right at the bottom, it then again summarizes your cash checking, electronic transfers, amounts, and then just gives a total right at the bottom. Okay, then we've got your leave reports where it shows your leave processing that you may want to see. Then it shows your employee leave transactions that you can view your leave by transaction, like your annual leave, sick leave, and so forth. And you can choose from which date to which date you want to see the report to. And then we've got your leave management loan leave, which basically will show you how many employees did not take leave for the year. Okay. Then we've got your favorites tab. On the favorites tab, basically for each report, you can just select that this is the favorite report. You'll find it under here, of which you can easily find it. Okay. So that is the end of today's Payslip processing training. I'm hoping you found it quite simple, quite easy. Again, we just went over how to create a pay cycle, adding your employees, doing the payslip processing, and viewing our reports. So on the screen as well, you'll be able to see your active employees, how many employees have been processed for this particular period, unprocessed employees, employees that are on leave, and terminated employees. Okay. So yeah, I'm not sure if there's any questions, but please, if you have any questions, please let me know on the chat. Okay. So there are no questions. I assume it was quite informative and quite simple. If you do have any questions at any point, please let me know. My email address is lerato.lebogo@palladium.co.za. You can email me and send me any questions or anything you may want to find out. You're more than welcome to email me. But yeah, at the moment, thank you for joining me. Hope you have a great day further. Bye.